You know, it's been yet another hot minute since I've reviewed something, and I've certainly found something. One of my favorite YouTube channels is Re-Reds, and they have an ongoing string of videos called the Worst Ever series. I was introduced to it some time ago, and I've enjoyed all the episodes they've dropped over the years. However, in my quest to get free shipping on an Amazon order, I found a new contender for the worst video game system ever made. Its name is the Family Pocket Portable Player RS-8X. I am extremely sorry.
Fatality.
So upon first glancing at the console, I knew that it was going to be something special.
It was packaged like a Christmas gift, probably to screw with dumb children. It had a clear plastic sheet to let you know what you're jumping into. Also so you can prepare to return the damn thing. The box boasted 3 to 4 hours of gameplay, but who's gonna sit around for that noise? It also had quite a few categories of games such as adventure, puzzle, memoir, it's on the box, I'm not making this shit up, and math. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be Chinese made without that. In general, I didn't have high hopes for it. Usually the consoles that you buy in the back closet of Amazon aren't very high-end where specs are involved. At least it comes in other colors, I guess. Let's just say this thing wasn't worth $22.
Before we talk about the system, I need to read this quote from the box to give you guys some insight on the developer's point of view of their own console. Look and listen to this nonsense. Welcome to Family Pocket Game Products. The RS-8X product is a brand new style of 16-bit handheld game console in the Family Pocket series, which is loved by many consumers around the world. It built in sports, adventure, and puzzle games, as well as thinking and learning games involving memory, math, and logic. No violent games. Your child's body and mind get full exercise. It will always have something new to amuse while you little love are at home or on the go. As a cool birthday, Christmas gift for the kids and adults are really surprised. I'm not even going to list the problems with those lines. It's just pure Chinese magic, people.
Anyway, let's discuss the physical unit itself. It feels insanely cheap, plasticky, and not very good on your hands. Not helping matters is that the system is so cramped and tiny your wrists want to snap off your arms. There's an LCD screen along with a volume wheel, a power switch, and a micro USB port. By the way, you can see the system's screen through the ports on the system. True sign of quality if you ask me. Finally, there's AV Video Out, the height of technology. There are 3 main action buttons, A, B, and T. Don't worry, it's simply a repeat of A. Glorious. There's also a start button, a reset button, and a plastic circle with arrows and a central groove. This is supposed to be a D-pad, and it's one of the worst D-pads ever made! Because it's a circle, you can barely tell what direction you're pressing. Don't worry about it though, because the system doesn't know what direction you're pressing either, due to the shitty contacts.
But you probably wouldn't believe me if I didn't show you what lurks on the inside of this unit. So let us witness the terrors that are this console's games.
Upon first starting up the console, the title screen was a bit odd. It had the title twice, once in big colorful print in English, and the other right above it in Japanese?
I thought this was developed by the Chinese. Who's gonna take responsibility of this masterpiece of a title screen?
The title read Family Pocket Games, which is original, I guess. Below the titles it read Press Start to Start.
Well, what else would start do? I thought it would end the game myself. I wasn't born yesterday. I know how to start things.
I should also mention that all the title screens look like a PNG image someone just slapped on in the end because they forgot that they needed a title screen. The volume on the console was tits. To change it, you had to do it externally via the volume wheel, and the sound output was mono. To give some perspective on this, the audio didn't even come through on the recording when I played it. How do you mess up that bad?
Whatever country produced this must be more technologically advanced than the US. And you shit this thing out? How much sense does that make? None.
I'll just tell you that every sound this pile of scrap spews out makes you want to shove a power drill down your ear canal. The console came with 9 base games. X-Racer 3, a racing game that was good enough to get a third game, even though I've never freaking heard of the series before. Kid Adventure, which had Bomberman on the front and could assume to be a puzzle game like Bomberman. Table tennis, basketball, boxing, which looked very high quality from this game's thumbnail. The kid in the thumbnail looks like something out of Baldi's Basics. Mystery Cave, basically Zumba. Space Attack, a generic space shooter. Last Fortress, a generic first-person shooter. And lastly, Empire Combat. Sounded pretty cool, but I knew what to expect. There was also a thing on the menu called Minigame, which held within the console's true magic. Is that Andy fucking Bogard? The minigame mode contained 33 games over a variety of categories for a total of 42 games in all. This may sound like a lot, but it's a plug and play. What you're getting for that price is usually something I can make in 5 minutes, and I don't even know how to code. First I started with X-Racer 3.
The most extreme racing game ever!
There were only 4 maps, but they were basically all the same. However, it turned out to remind me of F-Zero due to how damn fast my car was driving. Going 250 kilometers an hour and taking sharp corners at that speed would probably break your neck. However, to the legendary Mike, it was nothing. All the other CPUs were named Alan for no explainable reason. So in first place was the boy with steel neck bones, Mike, and then the clan of 9 Allens. Once you finished a race, you had the option to exit or continuous? I think somebody forgot to translate the game properly. I choose to exit, please.
Yeah, that was my reaction to the best title screen I've ever seen in my fucking life.
It looked so awful that it was laughable. The game itself was like Bomberman, except you had water balloons and purple slimy demon jelly monsters that wanted some coochie.
Not just any coochie. Your coochie.
The goal, I think, is to destroy all the castles in the level. However, this goal cannot be accomplished due to the accursed D-pad. The character gets paralyzed due to the console not being able to register inputs properly. Overall, it just sucked. Would not play again.
Next up is table tennis. And well, it's table tennis. For a game so simple, they managed to fuck it up in quite a few ways.
For starters, the game features John and Liu Hao, the most awe-inspiring ping pong players I've ever seen. You can only see your paddle, and you press A to flail it around like a complete idiot. John also has issues with his paddle, considering he can't even hold it correctly! The main issue is John's AI, and that's because he almost has no AI. He just rallies the ball back and forth until he hits it off the table or you screw up somehow.
You know you've gone down a dark road when a Pong clone would have been better.
The next piece of art I tried was basketball, but that was just a facade. Its true identity was something far more sinister. Basket shotting! Yeah, no joke. Basket shotting.
They were so close to getting the name right. So damn close.
The game had 2 modes, free and competition. I don't know anyone who would play this with someone else. I wouldn't even wipe my bare baby bum with this game. You can direct your shot with the D-pad and throw the ball with the A button. Once you make a basket, you can just mash A and literally make every basket. You don't even have to look. Boxing is the next in line, and it immediately throws you in against Super Saiyan Red Jimmy, who got stuffed in the locker the other day. All the controls are on the D-pad, which is a gamer's delight. The game is best 2 out of 3 because you totally want to play more than one round of this trash. Once you defeat Jimmy the Rejected Me, you kill him off for good and it kicks you back to the main menu.
No, but in all seriousness, the controls were odd and yucky. And I hated Jimmy.
The next game was Mystery Cave.
It's just Zumba, the trash.
Those were my exact words when I played this originally. For some odd reason, on the side it would tick down years and fluctuate between BC and AD. Essentially, it's just Zumba, as I previously mentioned, but for a Zumba clone, it was boring!
Like, what it was based off of was fun, but this sucks! And all the levels are the same. Why?
Space Attack immediately started you off with 9 lives, which you'd need because this game was unreasonably hard. It was a mediocre space shooter and it featured our favorite villain, the D-pad. This game was super hard from the beginning, even if you managed to get power-ups. Once you managed to squeeze your way through the countless projectiles, you encountered a huge spaceship which was the boss. And it's nearly impossible! You can barely hit him! He fires 5 projectiles at once and you can't get away from them! At least Galaga let me dodge! If you have enough lives and manage to avoid enough bullets, you'll beat it. Then I died immediately at level 3.
I'd rather deal with my ex-catfish girlfriend than deal with this game again.
Once I booted up Last Fortress, the title read, The Last Fortress. Looks like a daring task. It went from last to the last, and I was the only man that could stop the invasion. So I took out my rifle, ducked behind some rocks with the gun at the ready, and prayed that I would make it home to my beautiful wife and kids after this daring task to defend the last fortress. In all reality, if this was war, I would have turned the gun on myself so I would not have to deal with this garbage. The main bad guy in this game again was the D-pad. I had so many problems that I could barely shoot. Speaking of shooting, on the bottom right corner, and I kept my ammo count, it's constantly stayed at 999. I had some grenades on me, but they did jack dick. Also, once I hit 31 HP, I was invincible. Nothing was hitting me at all. It's like they went from a phase sniper to a stormtrooper in no time at all. I couldn't bear to play too much more of it, so I closed it out to make sure I could come back home to my wife and kids without PTSD.
Last but not least is Empire Combat. Now my channel is predominantly about fighting games, and this is the worst fighting game I've ever played.
It throws you in immediately like boxing and makes you deal with crappy controls. The A and T buttons kick and B punches. Oh, and the D-pad didn't help. Again! The game was bare, gray, and dry. No dashing, no specials or ultimates, just punching and kicking. It was hard and seemed like kicking was the only option. It didn't really matter since this game's hit detection seemed dysfunctional.
Did I mention you can't jump?
Losing means the game resets completely. At one point I won, and the opponent took my win! And eventually, no matter how many times you tried, you have to lose!
What kind of crap is that? It's not fucking playable!
I'm just gonna give a summary of all the mini-games because the video would be too long and painful for me to go through it again. If you want my honest opinion, they all sucked! They were all trash! None were original or fun in any way, shape, or form. They just shart these things out and made sure they were painful to play. The only real enjoyment I took from them was yelling at them, and it was barely worth it to even do that. 90% of them were downright unplayable and unbearable. And the common enemy for the last time, for all of them, was the freaking D-pad! But I'm glad I did play it, so I know to never play it again.
Overall, this system blows. The games range from unoriginal and creatively bankrupt to completely unplayable. The console itself feels like it was designed more for a toddler to beat up rather than provide a good gaming experience. Do not buy this thing under any circumstances, whether out of a joke or just pure morbid curiosity. Stay far, far away from this pile of plastic and glue unless you really hate yourself that much. I've been Reaper Vegas, and I need to take out the trash.